Hello everyone, I'm Shweta Goswami and today we have with us the joint MD and CEO of JSW Energy, Mr. Prashant Jain. Hello Mr. Jain and a very happy new year to you.
Same to
Uh,
you and your viewers.
Thank you so much. For all our viewers, we are joining with Mr. Jain because JSW Energy just last Friday released its quarter three results. And I would directly like to start with the results, sir. So the results of the December quarter are out, and the company has seen its net profit decline by 45%. The EBITDA has also reduced by 18% compared to the same period in FY22. The situation was very similar in quarter two as well. But just that this time the profit margins have shrunk even further. Sir, according to you, what are the reasons for the same?
Yeah, so Shweta, you need to understand the business what we are in. So we are into a power business where we sell our power on a long-term contract. So 83% of our power is sold in the long-term contracts. Now, in the long-term contracts, all our fuel prices are passed through, and you know that the coal prices have went through the roof throughout the year. During the quarter also, it was higher, 37% year on year. So when you look at a contract where fuel price goes up substantially as compared to the fixed cost which I am getting, you will be seeing my EBITDA margin is contracting, whereas the absolute EBITDA is perfectly fine, and that is why you need to see on the absolute EBITDA basis, not on the EBITDA margin per se. Other than that part also, that our EBITDA during the quarter went down by 18%. Primarily, the reason was the merchant volumes, because during the quarter, there are two things which happened. In, in the current October month, the power demand was negative or almost flat as compared to the previous year, at which year was having a very robust power demand, and that point of time, the power prices were ruling close to 20 rupees. And this year, the power prices in the quarter was on an average 4 rupee 35 paisa, 4 rupee 55 paisa, in that kind of a range. And whereas the fuel prices went up because of the higher coal prices, which went up by 37%. Because of this, there was a lower merchant volume. But if you look at the year as a whole for the last 9 months, our merchant volumes were up by 65% as compared to the last year. Reason for that, for the first 9 months, the power demand went up by 10%. For the quarter three, the power demand went up by 6.4%. So that was the primary reason. Now, going forward, what is happening is the current quarter, the power demand for the first 22 days is up by 15%. Power prices have gone up from 4 rupee 50 paisa to 6 rupee 50 paisa to 7 rupees. Coal prices have come down from $240 to 170, $160. So because of which now the situation is again changing. So you have to take out the seasonality factor and see in totality. Second part is you should not never look at the EBITDA margin in our business.
So, but even if not in October, power demand was fairly high in the months of November and December. What do you have to say about that?
For the even then the power prices were not high. So for the quarter and average, the power prices was 4 rupee 55 paisa. Fuel prices were $245 imported coal price. That will translate to the fuel price on an average at 6 rupee 50 paisa. So if your coal is at that high price and fuel is at that high price, you will not be able to sell it in the merchant volume,
Right. Sir,
which
and
is
yeah, sorry, go on.
which has changed now, and you have to see in totality. That's what you have. So first 9 months, our EBITDA is up by 5% as compared to the previous year, because
Okay.
it has taken care of everything. So we had a very good merchant volume in the Q1. April, May was the very good month. So there we sold more than 500 million units as compared to the last year in the merchant market. So month on month, quarter on quarter need not to be seen. That's what it is, the point I'm trying to make up.
The merchant power cap has continued to remain at rupees 12 per unit, and the prices have continued to hit the upper circuit. For companies like JSW Energy, how are you all looking at the short term market?
No, we cannot. It's not in our hand primarily because that's why we want to contract the long-term agreements. And now our portfolio is 83% in the long-term market. Short-term market, it is beyond anybody's control because coal prices we cannot control. We cannot control the power prices, and that's what we want to do that. However, whenever in whichever time block the power prices are higher than our fuel price, we are able to sell that particular time. And you need not to see the power at a particular time. You are looking at it like it is going up to 12 rupees, but it is going as low as 2 rupee 50 paisa also. So you need to see on a day and average power prices, and now the average power prices have gone up to 6 rupee 50 paisa, which is near the variable cost or higher than that. So now the merchant volume will be going up.
Sir, but overall, will it be profitable to sell at around this, highest upper limit of rupees 12 for companies like this?
Absolutely, it is. But if it is the throughout the day, but if it is only for 2 hours, then
Hmm.
it is not. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you need to see the throughout the day or average power prices, and everything is relative in terms of to the coal prices. Now you know that the gas prices have come down, and Europe, which was buying more coal because of the higher gas prices, now switched back to the gas again, and because of which the coal prices are coming down.
Right. Sir, and also, are any kind of you talked about long-term PPAs. So for you all, it is obviously, I mean, the pass-through is a good thing. But are your customers coming to you to renegotiate by any chance? There's no
No,
such terms, right?
no, no.
All right. And sir, a very good news that came to you, to all of us, and more to you about the SECI order being awarded to you. What could you throw some light on your battery storage plans so far?
So this is the world largest tender for 1000 megawatt hour, for which we have already got the letter of award. From the letter of award, the project needs to be completed by within 21 months. So by October, we will be completing this project. This project will be set up in the state of Rajasthan, and this will be the first project of its kind in the country, and we are pretty excited about it. Along with this, we are also working on hydro pump storage projects, which is also going to be the future because we are building multiple verticals: generation, storage, and then electron to molecule business. So the energy storage business vertical is going to be a very phenomenal vertical, and we are very much excited about it.
Sir, are there any specific targets for FY23 and 24 with regard to battery storage?
So this is the one project which we will be commissioning. We are working on multiple other opportunities, as we have also explained in our investor call that we will be starting it during the current calendar year. The first hydro pump storage project also, which will be for our group captive requirement for our steel plant, where we are building our own microgrid for solar farm, wind farm, and hydro pump storage, along with the battery storage. So that opportunity is going to give to build a round the clock renewable power concept, which will be utilized for decarbonization for the group.
Right, right. And so, coming to pumped hydro storage projects, the government also is likely to, I mean, coming up with draft policy, a framework for this. What are your expectations, and is there anything that you want in terms of this hydro storage projects for the budget?
So government is really mindful that when we are building such a large capacity for the generation by the renewable resources, the storage solution is very important piece for stabilization of the grid. and for which government is working on both side. One is a hydro pump storage, and second is for the lithium ion battery storage projects. And as and when these policies are announced, we will be working on that, because we have already identified and got allocated up to 50 gigawatt hour of the storage projects, hydro pump storage projects in various states, where we have already started the development in terms of seeking various regulatory approvals, land acquisition, and preparation of the feasibility studies. And as in when government comes out with the policy and comes out with a tender, like they came out with a tender for the lithium ion battery, we will be also setting up hydro pump storage projects.
Right. So, in order of the commissioning, could you just give us some more details about these projects? Any one that would come first, or something like that? The
So typically it takes 3 to 5 years depending upon the type and size of the project and then complexity which involves. So the first project which we are intending to start construction in during the current calendar year will take 3 to 3.5 years time frame.
Right, right. So for pump storage, there are no the industry does not. I mean, is not demanding any incentive or anything as such, right? I mean, there's no. Is there no requirement for that, or because it's just a policy framework that is being worked out? So, is there any demand from the industry as such, from the government?
So power sector doesn't get any kind of an incentive from the government as such. So policy framework is one part which is very very important, and secondly, the off long term offtake agreements is the second part. So if these are the two things which comes up, then power sector can do its bit. But infrastructure projects typically they are built based on the policy framework as well as the long term contracts. So these are the two things which are very very important. So if there are a long term offtake agreements and a policy framework, then it works well.
Right. So now I was talking about incentives, so I'll also come to the National Green Hydrogen Mission, the document of which was just recently released. Uh, even in your investors' call, even in your presentation, everywhere, there is a lot that's been talked about: wind, solar, uh, pumped hydro storage projects. But in green hydrogen, there's no clear announcements from JSW Energy. Could you give us some details about what exactly is the company planning in terms of green hydrogen?
So we are already,
Right.
yeah. So we are already developing all these kind of a projects. These projects are on the drawing board at this point of time in conceptualization, and so we are going to build this kind of a large projects within our microgrid, which I explained, where we are setting up solar farm, wind farm, pump hydro project, which will be generating very low cost, round the clock green power. And we are waiting for the policy framework from the government of India. As soon as that policy framework is announced, right now it has been just approved by the cabinet, and then now the framework will be prepared, and then rules will be made, and then stakeholder engagement will take. At that point of time, we will start that project. But we are already working on that. But once the framework is announced, long term offtake agreements can be signed up, then the projects will be started. Because until unless you have those kind of a two piece, these kind of a projects cannot we cannot you cannot start construction immediately.
Right. So then, what about? I mean, if you're planning such projects, then what are your plans for electrolyzers? Since they are very expensive, how do you plan to deal with that?
So there are various type of technologies which are available in the market: alkaline, PAM, SOEC. Based on that, you build various kind of a project. So we are already in touch with various leading companies who have done lot of research and built large capacities of manufacturing electrolyzers. We are working with them, and as in when as I said that we can, there is a policy framework in place, we will be in a position to get those contracts signed and then build those kind of a capacities.
Right, right. So then, obviously you must be aware that Joshimat has been a talking point, and with Joshimat, hydroelectric projects have been very critically, as well as, there are like both sides to the discussion. So, do you think the whole Joshimat issue would kind of affect hydroelectric projects in India, or what's your opinion about that?
So discussions and engagements are a important piece of democracy, and whenever any kind of a problem happens, we try to look at the reasons to justify that part. Ministry of Power and NTPC and NHPC, they have already done a study on the Joshimat incident, and then they are doing a detailed investigations also. The whatever preliminary investigations which I have gone through, it has nothing to do with any hydroelectric projects, because hydro projects is a part of a development needs of the country, or country like India. They need to be built with a lot of safety and precautions, for which India is well equipped. um, India has so many large projects which are operating for last various decades. We are operating our plant for close to 1.5, 2 decades, and we have seen with that kind of experience that if the projects are conceptualized well, executed well, it does not, pose any kind of a threat. Rather, it gives the benefit to the human mankind, as well as the biodiversity and the hydrology in and around these particular areas. So I will not be in a position to comment on a particular situation, but these are things which always crop up when any kind of a tragedy happens, but they need to be discussed thoroughly. And on a principal note, I can say that hydroelectric projects are good for the country, good for the mankind, and as well as nature, if executed well.
Sir, is the company planning any new hydroelectric project as such otherwise?
So right now we are, our one project is under construction, which will go into the commissioning, which is in Himachal Pradesh in next 12 months time frame.
Okay,
And
next 3 months.
yeah, next 12 months, 12 to 15 months, and then there are couple of more we are working and in due course. So we are very, very optimistic about the future of the hydroelectric projects, and we feel that this is a very good space to be in.
So, couple of more, if you could give us a number.
So, these are the projects which are under development. So, eventually, we will be like, as I mentioned, that the pump hydro, there is a pipeline which has already been planned for the 50 gigawatt hour, which is equivalent to, for a 6 to 7 hours storage basis, it is around 8,000 megawatt. Um, Likewise, on a hydropower projects, we are working close to 1,000 to 2,000 megawatt capacity in various states in due course of time. But uh, they take a lot of time to develop, and over a period of time, we will be doing. So each project take 5 to 6 years to build.
So, in terms of wind energy, specifically, has the government called industry people to kind of discuss a framework in terms of incentives, especially anything in that regard happening? Any update?
It keeps on happening, but power is a very social subject in the country, and then we want power to be supplied free, and we want power to be purchased also at free or the lowest cost, whereas it is not possible that way. That's why I said that it's a it's a very controlled or regulated sector in that aspect because of the sentiments associated in and around it, and that's why it takes a little longer time. But um, but the trajectory is on the positive side, and which is what we are excited about it.
And any plans to foray into offshore wind?
So as and when the policy is formulated, government has already started talking about
Yes.
the policy formulation, and in due course of time, government will look into it. But offshore wind gives power at 6 to 8 rupees per unit, not less than that. And I don't think India wants to buy power at 8 rupees at this point of time. So um, that's what is the choice which needs to be made while we want to develop that particular area.
Right. And even as a that also gives us some hint that the company's outlook towards offshore currently might be a bit muted, if I'm okay to guess that.
So it depends on, as I said, that there are the two things which is important into the project development for power sector. One is the policy framework, and second is the long term agreements, because power is you cannot build a power project for 25 years based on the merchant market forecast, and where the sector is also not totally opened up. Had it been a totally open sector, then people can think about it. So uh, if some particular technology is warranting a large capital expenditure, and which is going to result a higher cost of power or higher tariff, and if there are no off takers at that particular price, I believe nobody will be in a position to set it up. So
Right.
there is a timing, we need to look at that.
Right. So last time when we spoke, you said that the acquisition of Mitra would happen at the end of the third quarter, but that has not happened. What are the reasons for the delay?
So there are 17 lenders. We need to take the approval from each lender. They have to go to their board, and that sometimes it takes a little bit of more time. I said that it will be completed, but it was not, and now it's a matter of days, not even weeks. I am expecting that maybe within this month or early next month, we should see that happening.
All right. And all right. So I'm getting a call to wrap up. So I'll quickly just. So after the acquisition of in Bharat, what's the next steps? And what are the next projects or companies or whatever that is there anything else in the pipeline in terms of acquisitions and mergers?
See, we have already we gave the guidance of 10 gigawatt by FY25. We have already locked in that kind of a capacity, which will get commissioned much before completion of the March 25. And we have also given the guidance that we will be a 20 gigawatt company by FY30. So we are working on that piece at this point of time, because FY25 is will be done well before the time. So we are working both organically and inorganically to ramp up our capacity to 20 gigawatt.
Right. Right. So could you also quickly just give us a overview about the company's debt situation?
So right now our total gross debt is approximately 9,800 crore, and it's going to go up, because out of this 9,800 crore, around 3,000 crore that is for capital work in progress, and rest 6,800 crore is on the operating assets. And our close to 2,300 megawatt is odd is under construction, which will get commissioned in next 12 to 15 months time frame. So that's what is going on.
Also, is the company looking at funding investors, ESG bonds, ESG funds? I mean, anything?
So for 10 gigawatt of operating capacity, we are fully capitalized. We don't need any kind of a capital. However, we continue to look at various growth opportunities. And as and when any opportunity arises, we want to raise further capital. We are fully equipped to do that at that point of time. So we are not averse, but that raise will be only for further uh, capacity enhancement.
But as of now, there are no talks going on for these for the next 10 gigawatt of
As I said
capacity.
that even for the next 10 gigawatt by FY30, we don't need any equity capital. But there are many more pieces which are also available in front of us. So we can accelerate our growth to 20 gigawatt even earlier than FY30, both organically and inorganically. And if we find those kind of opportunities, we will look at the capital raise at that point of time.
Right. All right. For all our viewers, we had a very elaborate discussion with the joint MD and CEO of JSW Energy, Mr. Prashant Jain. Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for joining us, and congratulations for the Q3 results. And hope we get to talk soon post the budget. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Shweta. Thanks for
Thank.
having me.
1st February 2023, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the last full union budget before 2024 elections. India's most awaited financial event comes in the midst of global slowdown, inflation, liquidity tightening, geopolitical tensions, and re-emergence of COVID-19. Will India look to fire up its manufacturing? Will India build a moat against global uncertainties? What will the budget have for the middle class? Watch the complete coverage of Budget 2023. Real-time analysis, expert takes all day on Moneycontrol. Log on to www.moneycontrol.com for more.